Assassin's Creed 1 kickstarted a 16-year-old franchise all the way back in 2007. While it was groundbreaking in many ways, it wasn't without its flaws. So today let's take a closer look at everything wrong with Assassin's Creed 1. One of the most common criticisms of Assassin's Creed 1 is its repetitive gameplay loop. While the game introduced us to the fascinating world of the Third Crusade, we often find ourselves doing the same tasks over and over again. From eavesdropping on conversations to pickpocketing and interrogations, with the occasional informant missions with us picking up scattered flags and assassinating multiple targets without being detected, the game could have used more variety to keep players engaged. While they did try to spice things up with the release of the director's cut, adding in new mission types with escorting informants and races, this edition was limited only for PC, leaving console players with the same old missions. The combat system in Assassin's Creed 1 is often seen as quite basic compared to later entries in the series. One common complaint is that players often rely on the same tactics and moves to defeat enemies, especially once you've unlocked the counterkill. The limited variety of enemy types and their predictable AI patterns contribute to this repetitiveness as well. However, the main problem with the combat system is that it's not basic, it's just poorly explained to the players. It's not the players' fault that you can just counter all attacks in the game to win a fight. There's no incentive to experiment, especially when it's poorly tutorialized. Shock and awe, air assassinations, advanced counters which lets you break the legs and slit the throats of enemies, all of these things and more are just never explained to the player, and you're just left to figure it out. The in-game tutorial does its best when it comes to showcasing moves such as the combo kill, the grab break, the guard break, and a few others, but there's so many more mechanics the game has but never teaches us, which is a shame because once you learn how in-depth the combat system is, it becomes a more enjoyable experience when you do engage in the combat. Assassin's Creed 1 was plagued by a number of technical issues such as graphical glitches, AI problems, and the occasional crashes. While these issues don't ruin the overall experience, they did detract from the immersion and polish of the game. Nothing is worse than performing a leap of faith only to die as soon as you hit the ground. The game suffered from a lack of side activities to keep players entertained. While the main story was engaging both in the modern day and the Third Crusade, the world felt empty and lifeless with little to do once you finished the main story. There are the viewpoints you can scale and you can save the citizens all across the cities, but if you're playing the game properly you'll be doing that as you go through the game. So by the end of it you're left with 420 flags and killing random Templars scattered across the map. While not deal breaker, it is something that I wish they had implemented more to just give the end game a bit more life. Another issue that players often mention when discussing Assassin's Creed 1 is the presence of beggars in the game. These NPCs would constantly approach Altair begging for money and obstructing the player's path. While this was intended to add realism and immersion to the game world, it often became more of an annoyance, as the beggars would frequently interrupt gameplay and make it difficult to navigate through crowded areas. The same can also be said to the multiple drunks around Acre. One more point worth discussing is the Kingdom in Assassin's Creed 1. Kingdom was a vast open area that connected the game's main cities, but it felt like a missed opportunity. While it was visually impressive, there was a lack of meaningful content and activities to engage players. The Kingdom mainly served as a travel hub between cities with little incentive to explore or interact with the environment. This resulted in a large empty space that could have been utilized more efficiently to enrich the game world and provide additional gameplay opportunities. Maybe we could have dealt with Jamal, the traitor from the beginning of the game. Maybe we could have done miscellaneous assassination contracts where we have to infiltrate a guard camp in the Kingdom and assassinate a captain. There's so many cool ruins and structures, environments which have been handcrafted in the Kingdom, and we can just skip it because there's nothing meaningful here. If we ever do get a remaster for Assassin's Creed 1, a huge thing for me would be making better use of the Kingdom. Okay, let's talk about the collectibles in Assassin's Creed 1. The game featured a variety of collectibles such as flags and killing Templars scattered across the world. While collectibles can add depth and encourage exploration, the implementation in Assassin's Creed 1 felt tedious and unrewarding. With hundreds of items to find and no in-game map or tracker to help players locate them, the process of collecting these items became a monotonous task that offered little payoff. Future installments in the series improved upon this aspect by providing more engaging and rewarding collectibles. It is important to note as well that the reason the flags were introduced to begin with is because the head of Ubisoft's son, when playtesting the game, said he was bored, so they made the game devs put something else in to break up the gameplay. However, adding 420 flags into the world which are bugged, mean nothing, and reward you with nothing is one of the biggest jokes I've seen next to adding Iron Man armor into Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Patrice Désilets knew what he was doing with the flags, given that it was meant to be a jab at collectathons from the 90s, but damn. This is probably the biggest gripe that I have with this game, and I love this game to pieces, but why does this game only have one save slot? Why couldn't we have at least the bare minimum of 3? People like doing multiple playthroughs of games without having to erase all their data. It also sucks incredibly hard if I want to record a video about the modern day or do a challenge run, because all the hard work that I've done on my main save, doing all the viewpoints, saving all the citizens, becomes pointless. If we had multiple saves, this would be completely fine. I could start a new game, do a different run, and not have to delete my save file every single time I want clips from the modern day. Also, I hate how this was brought back in Assassin's Creed Unity and Syndicate. Like, that's a terrible game design choice, and I will die on this hill. If you're a lover of Assassin's Creed as much as I am, then you're going to love the video that's on screen now. Thank you so much for watching, and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on the next video. I'll hopefully see you over there.